Hello guys, and welcome back to Power and Revolution 2020 edition with our Israeli playthrough. In the last episode, we experienced some bugs. Turns out, when I open the police tab, and I accidentally hit the history tab, not only will it freeze the game for 5 minutes, but it will also doom the game to crash the moment I start zooming in and out. I figured that out after some testing and a couple crashes. I think it was like 3 crashes last episode, and last episode was on Monday. I skipped some days of uploading so I could take a little bit of a break from this game so I could come back in ready to continue and not end up just fucking rage quitting. Luckily, almost everything productive that I did in that episode was actually before September started. I say that because September 1st is my autosave. That's where I was able to resume this play session from. There's only 2 things that I actually did rather than reacted to happening after that autosave date. The first is I went to the police tab. I put another star in fight against illegal immigration, so let's go ahead and do that right now. And the second is I went to the Secret Service, and I went to here. Yes, I went to here, and I put my own party leader under surveillance. I think that's it. I think that's everything. Well, I might have made this... Yeah, I made this scandal public. I think I did this right before the game crashed. So let's make that public, that scandal related to the leader of the political party of the Ultra Democratic Liberal League, whatever the fuck it's called. It's a really weird name. You know, it's funny, when I did this in the last episode, I swear to God, I actually got a popularity hit, like very tiny. But this time it's a very tiny boost. Interesting. In that last episode, we saw all sorts of things happening over here between Pakistan and Iran, but as far as I understand, this conflict should be over, which maybe we'll see in the international pages right here. Maybe. It doesn't look like they're fighting anymore, so I want to say that the conflict's over. There's like nothing in the paper about it. No. Anything in the national pages? No. On the front page? No. Just the security case about my former Homeland of Security leader, integration policy, yeah, just some stuff going through. One of our agents was spotted and murdered. We still have these terrorist organizations from when we took over Lebanon. Honestly, guys, right now, this very instant, I'm honestly ready to go and, say, attack Syria or attack someone else. In most cases. The one place where I'm not ready is that I still have all these terrorists from when I took over Lebanon. And the problem is, anyone that I want to attack around me has their own terrorist issues. So I can't really rush without suffering more severe consequences from terrorists, unfortunately. We were also dealing with a bug last time where our population growth plummeted to unrecoverable amounts that would have definitely ended the game if left unchecked. I have checked it. I have closed exits from the territory, which has given us a positive population growth again. And, where is it? So our immigration rate is still in the negative, so there's still people leaving. If I remember correctly, it's like 77,000 of my citizens are leaving every year. I don't know how that's possible. It's actually getting a little teeny bit better, or that it's just been rounding and I didn't realize it. Yeah, it's just rounding. This is not all illegal immigrants leaving, which they were, or kind of still are, because there's only 45,000 currently in my country, and there's a lot more than them that are leaving somehow, even though my territory's closed. I don't know how they do it. I don't really know how to stop it. I don't know how to improve it. That's one reason why I'm putting money into police, into the fight against illegal immigration. My hope is it will also fight against illegal emigration. That's just a hope, though. Alright, so we have that party leader under surveillance. More of our cyber attacks are getting ready, I believe. Everything I was setting up here is good to go. We actually lost 2 international agents somehow. I don't know how or when that happened. I guess I'll go ahead and... yeah, sure. I'll go ahead and hire another 2 to make up for them. We got Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur? I don't know. I ranted about this event last episode, so I'll skip the rant. Yeah, you can leave Iran. So I don't really care about any of the agents I have behind enemy lines right now that are trying to get information from me, because we learned an episode or 2 ago, a few episodes ago, that the UN in this game doesn't work anything like it did like it should. And we got the law on the tax on financial transactions going through, and it's now at 0.5%. I've reached my target goal. The money hasn't updated yet because we have yet to do the weekly economic calculation, but it's at 0.5%. I don't plan on raising it anymore. I have Tobin's tax right where Tobin wanted to see it. As for the war that happened here, it does appear to be over for sure, and nobody seems to have claimed anything as a result. But I can tell you what I saw as a result. Each side lost about 250,000, last I checked, maybe closer to 300,000 troops on each side. Between infantry and military equipment, they've really left each other with a lot to be recovered. Let's go actually check it here. Military power. I want to see how this has changed. So as we see here, Iran is currently the 13th most powerful, according to the Military Power Index, country in the world. And Pakistan is number 8. Let's start with Pakistan. They have a military power of 3,566 between combined assets. 8th place, 3,566. Go back to the start of the game. They were in 7th place with 4,294. That's a pretty big dip in power. Pretty fucking big. You can see Afghanistan getting their ass kicked by the Taliban or the Mujahideen. Here you can see they've gone from 45 to 59, 588 to 417. Iran is at 13th with 2,165. 2020 they were at 13th still with 2,509. So not seeming as fucked up as Pakistan by the end of this. Of course, they're the ones that had all the military intervention to assist them. But the war does appear to be over, and no one seems to have gained anything. Pakistan will still forever have that military intervention mandate on them, so if we ever wanted to attack Pakistan, that's an option. We're not really ready to attack Pakistan yet, though, unless we were willing to do a commando rush. And even then, if I was willing to do a commando rush, I would need more commandos. 1,000's not enough. 2,000 won't be enough. That's half a bill. Every 2,000 is going to be over a bill. I got to get this up to like 10,000 if I want to pull that off. That's several billion. And if we look at the budget department, let me move this along. The budget department, we have a budget excess of, 8 bill now after my massive tax increases. But the thing is, that would probably consume almost all of that money. And that money is better spent right now getting us out of debt, getting us in a place where we no longer need to raise taxes, and getting us just into more of a place of, I don't want to say self-sufficiency because that's misleading due to economics. Where are you planning to go and why are you not going there? What are you doing? What are you doing? I can't preview the whole line. I think I know where I was sending you. Let me get you moving. No? Are you stuck? Are you fucking stuck? No fucking way. No fucking way. A satellite got stuck? I sent it to Yemen. This can't be. How do you get stuck? You're in space. You don't have fuel. The game doesn't represent anything that realistically. This is new to 2020. I've never seen this. So one of my satellites is stuck. So it's essentially eternally stuck looking over this area and I can never move it again? Is that what I'm getting out of this? I guess I'm going to need to get more fucking satellites or something. So we have fully legalized self-driving vehicles. Again, we did this last episode too, but it never actually went anywhere just because of the crashing. So if we take a look at transport. Already, people are buying self-driving electric vehicles. That is good. I'm happy with that. That will continue to increase for the rest of the series. Public finances boost. Everything's looking pretty well. Seniors are in danger. No, they're not. Shut up. Let's go to culture. I'm just going to put 1 star in theater because somehow this lost a star or something. I don't know. It's cheap though. I'm just going to do that. I remember seeing it, which is why I went ahead and did it. Now, one thing I've had on a little notepad that I keep to the side of the game for the longest time of recording this game is that I wanted to grow my military and military tech. Well, as you know, I have gotten started on that by increasing my career soldiers. And at this point, we've taken over so many other countries that my career soldiers are pretty far up there. We don't actually have 1% of our population in the military yet. That was kind of a goal of mine because that's kind of similar to the status of the US military in real life. In just raw volunteers, we maintain something like 1% of our population, maybe a little more. I know there's usually a target of at about 1%, as I understand it. So I've kind of taken the pedal off that once I started seeing some finance issues, because we were getting so many more troops just from taking over locations anyway. Our population had been growing, thus increasing the amount of career soldiers we had anyway, that I just stopped concerning myself with it. I also went from about 100 commandos at some point to like 1,000, so that was an improvement. If we take a look through all the military equipment here, we will find that we've actually been taking over a lot of equipment from other countries, including rank 2 tanks, rank 1 tanks, missile batteries, maybe, probably not. I don't know, actually. Rank 1 helicopters, no drones, rank 1 fighter planes, all these little things, rank 1 sea equipment, a lot of really shitty stuff. And on my little notepad, I've also had the goal of improving military tech. Now, if you've watched my other playthroughs, you know that I go very America, and I like to maintain the most modern military hardware out of any country before I start warmongering or trying to expand or doing anything like that. As Israel, though, we don't really have the option to do that. I mean, we can. The problem is money. Money and economy. Our economy does so well on its own that if I did actually start doing this, I would probably increase how well it's doing to a point of stimulating inflation, and I don't like doing that. Like, our growth is already so good, our inflation's at a great point. I don't want to ruin that by making military tech. Simultaneously, the only other way I could do it is by spending extra money to say, we go here, purchase stuff from Russia or the United States. Let's look at Russia because their prices are cheaper. So we want to buy modern tanks. We go to Russia. It's $9.35 billion from Russia for one tank. Okay, I got to type the numbers in here. So let's say I wanted 100 tanks. That's already $1 billion. 1,000 tanks. About 1,000 is right. I mean, we have something like 800 or 900. No, close to 1,000, honestly, between Tier 1 and Tier 2 tanks. So let's say I wanted to modernize all of them. I wouldn't do it in one batch, obviously, because that would take 11 years in game, and that's just not reasonable. But this is how much it would cost me. Almost $10 billion. That is currently still more than all the money that I make in a year. Now, try also applying that to modernizing my missile launchers, modernizing anti-missile batteries, helicopters, getting actual rank 3 drones. I've already dismantled all my rank 2 drones. Well, I had to force it with God Spy because my dismantle button was broken for whatever reason. I wonder if it's still broken. I don't know. And then there's also all of these naval ships, 5 frigates and cruisers. Our Navy's basically non-existent right now, in my opinion. I mean, we have ships, but against a major power with a Navy, this is nothing. We'll never stand a chance. And these are even more expensive. These are billions in themselves, some of these things. Even if I stay away from the more expensive things down here, these alone cost a lot. Let's say we wanted rank 4 frigates and cruisers. It's over $1 billion just for one. You see where the problem kicks in. We're too tiny of a country. We don't have the money that we need to really start purchasing this from other countries. Purchasing it from our own country means that money flows into our own economy, thus it's not really as expensive, especially if we were to nationalize the industry. If we did that, more of the money would flow back into our pockets. But the economic growth it would generate is also problematic. I would need to raise my interest rate probably to deal with that. And by doing that, I would be strangling the other industries in my economy. I could encourage them to shrink and have poor situations. I could accidentally hurt the welfare of my people. Therefore, I'm kind of at a loss of doing it, of how to do it. So I've just been keeping all the old tech stuff for now, just not minding it, just shrugging, not caring about modernizing or trying to not care about it. Because, like I said, until we get our debt cleared and we have a real good income, or until we have an economic situation that isn't so good, I guess, until we get a worse economic situation, then there's really no way that I could go about that kind of modernization without some sort of dire consequences. Oldest person died. I missed a lot of these while I was talking. Let's make sure we didn't miss anything. Oh, religious appearance. Jordan, Mole Network. Oh, you know, that reminds me of something. United States discovers bionics. I think that's something we discovered, maybe. I don't know. Government waste. These spam my playthrough so much. It's just my ministers having issues with each other. And I don't know what the point of it is, but alright, that seems to be everything there. Now, what that reminded me to check here is we do have the Jihadist Caliphate infiltrated. We infiltrated about 3 weeks ago by the looks of it. Something like that. Let's go ahead and set it to dismantle, because I know that a month tends to be too long. Our Agents of the National Territory situation is improving, which should start to help a little bit more. What if I just double it? I'm not going to quite do that. Let's get this up to 3,000 now that we're about to hit our current target. I want to keep this increasing because we're still under the world average. And as we increase in size, we're going to need more agents on the national territory in order to stop terrorists from getting away with things, in order to more successfully infiltrate them and deal more damage to them. Unfortunately, there's no perfect math for this that I am aware of. You know, amount of national territory agents per population or land. If such a thing does exist, it's hidden behind the game engine, and we will probably never know what it is. As for my economy, it's doing great, as you can see. It's doing very, very well. There's been a lot of me talking. Oh my god. Oh no, did you see that? It's gone. It's gone, but that was just Egypt purchasing more nukes from some backwater country, I imagine. Those are usually really funny to read. I'm kind of sad I clicked off it. But yeah, this has been mostly me going over things and me dealing with the current situation of everything we have been doing so far, what has been culminating. I'm currently at a little bit of a point where all I can really do is wait, unless I want to try to do something to increase my income by maybe raising more taxes or maybe taking away from social programs like Social Security. There's not actually a lot I can do right now but sit around and simply wait for a lot of these things to resolve themselves. At the very least, I do need to sit around long enough to get rid of some of these terrorists so that if I do decide to attack Syria, which I want to, then we're going to be actually able to do it without spamming my country with terrorists. Because, you know, Syria is full of it. And Syria is my preferred next target. There's someone that I can kill because their capital's right here. Quick cyber attack, charge into Damascus, and then I could take down Syria before the UN has a chance to vote on the intervention. And as we've seen, at least so far, if the war's done, even if they vote yes, they're not actually going to get involved. But that may work differently because we already have an intervention mandate against us. I don't know. We'll have to find out. Not to mention we'd have to deal with the Kurds and all this crap over here. We did come out with a small cash surplus at the end of this quarter that we just passed through.
We have resisted the attack. The protection systems, especially in companies, are up to date. Very few victims to report.
Apparently, someone tried to cyber attack us, and we resisted it. That's about all it's telling me. So our old Minister of Homeland Security has gone through his trial, and his verdict is announced as being simply a heavy fine. So at the very least, that's good. I wish he didn't have to get fired to go through the trial. That would never happen in real life. And especially not in a country as completely taken over by everything as me.
We were able to
the cyber attack was a Brazilian criminal organization, so that's interesting. Departure of the Jihadist Caliphate organization, and we have infiltrated the total jihad terrorist organization. Alright, yeah. 1 3-week setup, infiltration, dismantlement of the Jihadist Caliphate in our country was enough to take them down, and they were surprisingly powerful. Well, they weren't surprisingly powerful. They were powerful, and it's surprising that we managed to take them down so easily. I guess all this spending is really starting to help. That's really good. Now, hopefully we can be as efficient taking down the total jihad here. I guess, you know, it's not as big as I gave it credit for. It has a lot of sympathizers, not a lot of followers. And followers are what usually makes the difference. Hey, we actually infiltrated that exactly, or almost exactly maybe, 1 month after we infiltrated the other terrorist organization. That's pretty good. I thought this would take multiple goes. I thought we'd be waiting a lot longer to get these kinds of results. But the moment I get rid of these terrorists, I'm pretty much set to take over Syria whenever I want. I have literally the entire Lebanese military, not all of it, some of it is elsewhere, you know, somewhere all these bases moved, I've already moved them, but I do have basically most of the land forces of the Lebanese military, plus my smaller invasion force, still here in Beirut, just ready to march on Damascus whenever they need to. And how far is that? Can you tell me, please? Well, it's less than 70 miles, so that would be a very easy trip. We just cyber attack and then start running over there. Okay, so we got some research, I guess, here. The retinal photo camera. Revolutionized images. Camera eyepieces purchased like buns. Bionic lens on the iris of the finger. Is this saying that we got a new research? Because I didn't have an opportunity to patent it or anything. What's the year? 2023. What do we have in 2023 that was not patented? Nothing. So I don't know what that is. Maybe that's just saying, oh, there's a new industry that just opened up, dude. So just in case you want to know about that. Our growth is still going up. Holy hot damn. But inflation going down. So it's under control. We're good. Unemployment's doing rather well. If we take a look at this oil well, speaking of, oh, it's going to finish literally tomorrow or today. It's about to finish. That is no doubt going to increase our oil production by hopefully a good amount, given where it's placed. Can I see? I can. Okay, that's not as much as I thought. That is not much different than this. It's definitely better because it's very good instead of poor or whatever this was. No, this was average. But it's not as much as I thought. As any other country, placing it on very good would produce insane amounts of oil. Absolutely insane. I think I'm going to go ahead now that that's done, and I'm going to actually dismantle this oil well here. Very simple to do, mainly because this is already 4 times that, so it's fine. But there's also more very good territory. I just want to try to squeeze all of the oil wells I can fit in this region of Israel into this one little corner if I can, in order to get the maximum amount of production possible. At the very least, if we still have to fit something into average, maybe because it's closer to up here, it will still produce more oil? That's a hope. I have seen variations like that, which make me hopeful that that could be how it works. One thing I can do while we wait, which certainly does not help money in any way, is place down another solar plant. I'm kind of running out of space for solar plants. You know that? I'm kind of running out of space down here. Soon I'll either need to switch to something else, or like something else I could place on the map somewhere else, or I'll need to pick a new location, or I'll need to go with off-map stuff. I know we have plenty of ocean for offshore wind turbines, that kind of stuff, but since there are no resources for us to get here other than these gas plants that I've already set up, that's why I'm kind of doing this. The only other thing I could fit down here is a military plant, and if I really need a military plant down here, well, I'll go ahead and do it. I like how close these were able to be placed together. But what is this giant-ass space? What is this? Someone explain that to me. We still have these building. Our consumption has gone up quite a bit now that we have so much more population. And unfortunately, we're just taking over countries relying on entirely fossil fuel. So it is increasing our CO2 emissions as a whole, as you can see. But certain changes we've been making, such as dismantling things, and hopefully the increase of electric vehicles, has been making this better. Technically, the increase of electric vehicles does not reduce pollution if your energy system is reliant on fossil fuels. But if I'm increasing, I don't know exactly what caused this. I'm just rationalizing at this point. Sometimes, most of the time, I know what I'm talking about. I was just about to try to rationalize, though. I don't know exactly why this is going down right now. The game doesn't tell me, and I can't keep track of my actions that well. I'm waiting for time to pass here. I am going to go ahead and position another solar plant, because more of mine are finishing, and I do like where this is going. Man, I wish I could use this space. I really, really wish I could use that space. A lot of this space is just becoming unusable. Anywhere else we could sneak one in here? No? None of this is usable over here? None of this. Wow. Wow, look at all this unusable space. What's that? Missile site. So, like, what'd be funny is these solar plants could theoretically start getting in the way of these missile silos here. So I may want to start rethinking this soon. I don't know. Alright, you know what? Fuck it. Rethink this I shall. Let's go all the way out here into the fucking ocean. And let's see about putting something literally at the very border of where we can place things. This doesn't even look like it's in my territory, but apparently it is. It's ranked as good. And that's probably the best we're going to get, yeah, out here. Ranked as good. Further away from the coast. So let's go ahead and set that up. So we're building our first offshore wind right here. This, as you see, over 5 years costs $3.5 billion, as compared to solar, which only costs 1.3 or 4 billion. It does produce another terawatt more in ideal scenarios, and as you see, oh, actually, this is designed for a capacity that is not even equal to these solar plants, so it is more expensive. But I am starting to get a little worried that, maybe eventually I will be setting up some military silos, and, all this land will be taken up. I'll have nowhere to put it. At that point, I'll just have to start dismantling solar plants anyway. So it's like, meh. And despite the price of these offshore wind plants, they are still cheaper than trying to set up, say, hydro or anything off-map to do the same. Because here's the same. 3 terawatts, and over 5 years becomes 5 billion. More expensive, but still cheaper. So let's go into fossil fuel now that we're improving things over here, and let's see how much we can get away with dismantling. That's 1.2. What if we go up to 16? 3.2. Alright, yeah, that should be good. Let's dismantle 16 more of our fossil energy plants. That should help improve things in terms of carbon emissions while we wait. Let's take a look at the date. Yep, it's time. Let's go to our security services and set Total Jihad to dismantle, and hopefully he takes it out in one shot. Because if he does, then next episode we'll probably be ready to go to war. Because, our economy's doing amazing. Here's that oil kicking in, I'm willing to bet. Here's that oil kicking in. Here's something kicking in. I'm also dumping money into the economy by making things like the wind turbines, yada yada. But once they're made, and I start dismantling fossil fuels and stuff like that, technically that rebalances it. Sort of, kind of. Technically, it should have less economic activity because it doesn't have any resources it needs generated. However, at the same time, the energy requirements are always going up as our population increases, as more people get these electric cars, as people switch to green energy, yada, yada, yada. So technically, I'm just kind of talking out of my ass, but there is truth in what I'm saying. Oh, sweet mother of Jesus, I've done it. I've accidentally done it. I've accidentally hit history. Oh no, why would I do this? Am I insane? I think I'm insane. I didn't even know what I was looking for. I really don't. You know what I'm used to? I'm used to legislation being on the left hand whenever I open up a tab on any of the other menus, and that's not the case here. Alright, I know how to get out of this. I just have to avoid zooming and save instead. Alright, so pause the game. Alright. I'm very scared. We're gonna save. You know what? I'm gonna make a different save. Back up. And we're gonna save that. And hopefully, it doesn't carry any negative effects forward once I reload. Well, here's something it has done. It's frozen the entire game on me trying to quit out of the game. So that's great. Okay, we have that magical alert. Departure of the Total Jihad organization. Let's take a peek. And yep, we have gotten rid of all of the terrorists that are in the country right now. This means that in the next episode, we will actually be capable of going in and attacking Syria without worrying as much. Although, we're going to step into a very interesting situation here when we do take them over. Their GDP isn't much to worry about. It's still pretty big, but it's nothing compared to ours, so absorbing it shouldn't be too tough. We do have to worry about this unemployment, because I don't know exactly how the game's going to translate this, but we may get a whole bunch of new citizens that don't have a job. Despite the crazy growth that their economy has, I don't really know how this is going to translate, but seeing as our economy is so much larger, we should be able to absorb most of this growth. The inflation won't matter because they'll be using our currency anyway. Their population, though, is almost equivalent to ours, so this unemployment may be felt. And even more than that, their country is several times, maybe 4 times, maybe 5 times, I think 4 times larger in terms of land mass than our country is, despite all of our gains. Which, I mean, this could get me a whole lot of new land to put wind turbines and solar plants without having to worry about just building so much here that I couldn't build any silos later on if I wanted, because the silos are new. When I've been placing all these, I still haven't been thinking about placing silos, because this just wasn't in the game until 2020, and I haven't really done anything with them yet. I can't really afford to do anything with them yet. We will also be taking over a very interesting situation with the Kurds here. Maybe I should release them when I take over Syria. Maybe I should not. There are also Russian planes in Syria in one of these airports last I checked, unless Russia has just decided to leave. So yeah, it'll be a very interesting situation to step into. I don't believe that they have any allies. Let's just take a quick little peek. So you go away. And let's get Syria on the screen. Syria. Oh, here we go. And so they have a non-aggression pact with Russia, and that's it. Alright, well, I think we have our plan for next episode. So for now, thank you guys very much for watching. And we're going to keep this thing going. See you next time.